Imagine you are falling. Not the falling you dream about, not the kind where you jolt awake before you hit the ground. This is real. And there is no ground. You've been falling for 6 hours, and the pressure around you has already crushed your spacecraft's outer shell like a soda can under a boot. The temperature is climbing past the point where metal softens. The winds are moving at 5 times the speed of a Category 5 hurricane, and they are still accelerating. You cannot see anything. You cannot stop. And somewhere above you, so far above you that it might as well be another universe, the last signal from your probe went dark. This is not science fiction. This happened. And what NASA found at the end of that descent changed everything we thought we knew about the most dangerous object in our solar system. From a distance, Jupiter is stunning. On a clear night, you can see it with your naked eye, a steady, pale point of light hanging in the sky like a second moon. Point a backyard telescope at it and you'll see something that looks almost peaceful. Soft pastel bands of cream and orange and brown, swirling in gentle arcs. The great red spot, a storm the size of Earth, looks like a brushstroke in a painting. There is something almost meditative about Jupiter from 400 million miles away. Something almost beautiful. But here's the problem. Every single thing you just admired, every soft color, every swirling band, every elegant curl of cloud, is a weapon. What looks like brushstrokes from Earth is, in reality, jet streams moving at 400 miles per hour, slamming into each other in walls of gas that stretch thousands of miles deep. What looks like pastel is ammonia, ice and sulfur compounds. What looks peaceful is the most violent atmospheric system in the solar system, an engine of destruction so large it could swallow 11 Earths and still have room. Jupiter doesn't just look different up close, it becomes something else entirely. Something that feels almost alive. Something that feels like it's waiting. Let's start with what Jupiter does before you even get close. Gravity. Jupiter's gravitational pull is so immense, more than twice Earth's, that it warps the trajectories of everything around it. Comets. Asteroids. Spacecraft. Even light bends near massive planets, and Jupiter is massive, so massive that it technically doesn't orbit the Sun. Both Jupiter and the Sun orbit a point in space called the barycenter, and that point sits outside the surface of the Sun. Jupiter is not a planet in the way we usually think of planets. It is a gravitational predator, reshaping the entire architecture of our solar system. And this is where things change. Scientists believe Jupiter has been flinging objects across the solar system for billions of years, sending asteroids careening inward toward Earth, acting as both shield and cannon. The same gravity that deflects dangerous objects away from us can also slingshot them directly at us. We have survived this long partly because of Jupiter, and partly in spite of it. It is the most unpredictable bodyguard in history, and we have absolutely no control over which role it decides to play. But it gets worse. Before you even reach Jupiter's clouds, before you even think about entering the atmosphere, you would be dead. Not from the storms. Not from the pressure. From something invisible. Jupiter generates the most powerful magnetic field of any planet in the solar system, roughly 20,000 times stronger than Earth's. And inside that magnetic field, it traps charged particles, electrons and protons moving at nearly the speed of light, creating radiation belts that dwarf anything around Earth. The Voyager probes passed through them and came back with systems partially fried. When NASA sent the Galileo probe to Jupiter in 1995, engineers had to shield its electronics in a specially designed titanium vault, and it still degraded faster than expected. If you were standing on one of Jupiter's moons, like Europa, without shielding, you would absorb a fatal dose of radiation in approximately 1 day. Not a month. Not a week. 1 day, the kind of radiation that doesn't burn you from the outside, the kind that unravels you from the inside, destroying your DNA, your cells, your nervous system, quietly and completely. The beauty of Jupiter's auroras, great shimmering curtains of green and purple light that make Earth's northern lights look like a nightlight, those auroras are powered by the same radiation that would kill you before you could take a single photograph. Now imagine you make it past the radiation. Imagine you actually begin the descent. The Galileo probe did exactly this in December 1995. It entered Jupiter's atmosphere at 106,000 miles per hour, the fastest a human-made object had ever entered an atmosphere, and even with a heat shield, the entry friction generated temperatures of 24,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Hotter than the surface of the sun. The heat shield burned away in minutes. And then the parachute opened. And the probe began to fall. For 58 minutes, Galileo sent back data as it descended into the clouds. It found winds of 400 miles per hour. It found temperatures rising far faster than predicted. It found almost no water, a complete mystery that overturned our models of how Jupiter formed. And then, at a depth where the pressure reached 23 times Earth's atmospheric pressure, the signal stopped. Not because the probe ran out of power. Because the probe ceased to exist. The pressure didn't crack it or damage it. It compressed it. Crushed it. Folded it into itself like paper. And then deeper, at depths we've never seen, the pressure becomes so extreme that hydrogen itself changes. It stops being a gas. It becomes a liquid. And then, deeper still, something that shouldn't exist, liquid metallic hydrogen, conducting electricity like a wire, flowing in massive currents, generating Jupiter's catastrophic magnetic field. There is no surface. There is no floor. There is just increasing hell, forever. But that's not even the worst part. We don't know what's at the center. We think there might be a rocky core, maybe 10 times the mass of Earth, buried under tens of thousands of miles of crushing gas and metallic liquid. But we don't know. Our probes can't reach it. Our instruments can't see through it. And recent data from NASA's Juno spacecraft, currently in orbit around Jupiter, making passes closer than any mission before, has revealed something unsettling. Jupiter's interior doesn't behave the way our models predicted. The gravity readings don't match. The magnetic field fluctuates in ways we can't explain. Something is happening inside Jupiter that we do not have the physics to describe yet. In 1994, the world watched as comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 slammed into Jupiter after being torn apart by its gravity. 21 fragments, each hitting the planet in sequence, each impact releasing energy equivalent to millions of nuclear weapons. The scars on Jupiter's cloud tops were larger than Earth. They persisted for months. And Jupiter just absorbed it. Barely registered. The planet swallowed a comet barrage that would have ended all life on Earth and moved on like nothing happened. That is not a planet. That is something else. Here is what stays with you after you've sat with all of this long enough. We did not choose Jupiter. We did not place it there. We had no say in the fact that our solar system organized itself around this colossal, indifferent giant, that we exist in its gravitational shadow, subject to its rules, unable to visit it, unable to fully understand it, unable to predict exactly what role it will play in Earth's future. We are, in a very real sense, neighbors with something we cannot comprehend. Something that follows no law we fully understand, that hides its core from us, that kills everything we send into it, and that will continue spinning silently in the dark long after our sun has burned out and everything we've ever called home has been swallowed by the void. NASA is not terrified of Jupiter because of what we know. NASA is terrified of Jupiter because of the shape of what we don't know, the outline of the mystery, the size of the shadow it casts over our understanding of physics, of planetary science, of our own survival. The universe did not build Jupiter for us to study. It did not build it for us at all. We are a thin layer of life on a small rock, pressing our faces against the glass of something ancient and enormous and utterly without mercy. And it doesn't even know we're here. Subscribe. Because we're just getting started.